Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Technician Podcast. Today I've got my man, Caleb Coroneos. Is that how you say it?
Coroneos, yeah.
Coroneos? Yeah, cool. And we're just going to talk some real shit, brother. Thank you for coming up. And how are you enjoying the Gold Coast?
Dude, I might move up here, eh?
Yeah?
I was either stuck between Melbourne or Gold Coast, but Gold Coast has the lifestyle of an easy balance where it's you just wake up early, train, and then you just work during the day. But
Yeah.
I'm a night person, so I hate how it's like nighttime so early up here. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
nice.
actually, I'm very much the same because you're really creative at night.
Yeah.
Well, what we were talking about before, I'd love to bring up straight up and just like hit it hard, is you said something before the podcast, and is that we all bleed blood, right? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so for example, let's just talk about people like idols like Justin Bieber, actors, whatever. People immortalize these people when it's just a fake reality, it's just a delusion, it's just a perception. So everything you see on camera is fake. And I'm starting to notice this with me. Like a lot of people think I'm living this mad life, which I am, but it's a lot different in person. Like you don't see the grind, you don't see the little conversations you have, you don't see the dark times, the good times. And the reason I say we all bleed and we all bleed blood is the saying like, if you go up to someone and they don't feel human or they just think they're better than you or they're egotistical.
A little bit robotical, sort of.
Yeah, it's just we all bleed at the end of the day.
I really like that because I think what I've noticed being in this game, especially, bro, we meet so many people, right? There's so many different personalities. And, I guess for myself, in the past, I've really struggled with like insecurities of, am I enough? So I meet people that might be perceived as, celebrities. As you said, we pedestal people. I used to do that so bad, man, because I wanted validation from those people. And now it's like, as you just said, they're just humans, bro. Like I've met you today, but technically before this, if I hadn't have done the work I've done, I would have seen you and been like freaking out, like, oh my God, it's Caleb. He's met the Tates. He's done this, this, and this. But as you said, you're just one of the normal boys. Like, and this is exactly how I felt as soon as I met you this morning. It's like, I've known you for years, right? But I bet you get that from everyone.
Yeah, but the thing is, like a lot of people, like let's just say you are successful, successful people, they're just fucking people. So there's no need to have an ego. There's no need to fucking just be rude and arrogant to people. Like in my industry, bro, there's a lot of arrogance.
Yeah. Which is videography?
Yeah, filmmaking,
Yep.
or just like the influencer market and stuff like that. Like there's no need for arrogance. It gets you nowhere. And yeah, if you're just like real to people, if you're just kind, that's all you need, bro. Like someone could be having a shit day. So if you just say to someone like, yo, what's up? Crack a couple jokes, like that can fucking like change someone's life.
100%. So how do you go navigating this space being the person you are?
See, I don't think I'm anyone special, bro. I really don't. I'm just a kid that has dreams and just wants to chase them. But when people come up to me, especially like, I don't go out much, but I go to clubs a couple of times and people come up to me to ask for photos or they just chuck their like whole life story on me when I'm trying to have a good night. But it's cool to know that what I'm doing is working and is having an impact. Especially, I want to target audience like teenagers, especially, even if like older men, but teenagers especially like after school when you feel a bit lost and during school when you feel lonely. It feels good to know that I'm helping people,
Big time, bro. And I think one thing I always go back to is like your why. Like what hurt you becomes your why a lot of the time. It's like for me, I don't want people to feel what I did when, like I said to you before, having been at the top of rugby league with the Broncos at such a young age, and then to throw that away, a lot of people judged me for it. And I shamed myself because it's like, well, I was going to be this next superstar and all this other bullshit, but I never actually loved rugby. And when I look back at it, I go, oh yeah, I probably regretted it for a long time, but I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't go through that hardship too. Are you almost, in a way, now that you are where you are you almost grateful for some of the shit that you've been through?
Especially with the footy thing.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could have made NRL, but I got a concussion that
Can you speak into that a bit? Because I heard that and I was like, holy fuck, it must have been a bad concussion that you got.
Yeah, it was a bad one. So I was playing for Para at the time, but I was playing club footy just during the breaks.
Yep.
So I was playing club footy and I got kicked in the back of the head. And basically what happened was I had a nerve go down my spine. I lost all feeling in my arms and my legs and my back, obviously.
Shit.
And the experience was fucked because I could hear a grenade ringing in my ear. Everything went black and white. And then I just remember thinking this whole time when I was hitting the floor, I was like, I'm about to die. Like, what the fuck? So all I remember was like literally coming out of my body and just seeing myself just like have a seizure. And my dad come in, like I could hear my dad talk to me like, son, like you awake? And then the ambulance comes, stuff like that. But I got lucky.
Dude, so I know one thing we really wanted to be able to touch on today was what you've actually been through. Now, I don't know if you've had an actual chance to really go deep on this stuff, because I know I've listened to a few of your podcasts. It's been really talking about your recent success and what you've been through, meeting the Tates, all that stuff. And we'll touch on that at some point, right? Because it's fucking cool. Like, congrats, bro, for what you've been through. But let's be real, like, let's go back to where it all started. And, you know, what's the first, when I ask you that question, how far back can you actually go? How far back can you remember?
Yeah, I can remember a lot about my past. I think a lot of people that go through trauma, they remember everything clearly. Like I had a conversation with my mate Quinn, and he went through sexual abuse, and you can see in his eyes that he remembers everything clearly.
He went straight back to it?
Like you can tell in people's eyes when they go through something.
So if you wanted to go back to the first moment that really started all this, where would it be?
Well, let's talk about when I grew up. I grew up with my mum and my stepdad, and that was from the age of when I was born till I was 5 years old. My dad didn't know I was his son until like he just found something just like sus. Like I have an older brother, and he would always pick up my brother because he had like half custody, whatever it is. Like he would pick up my brother on certain days.
Yeah.
And every time he picked up my brother, he would hear a little kid crying, banging on the door, saying, "Take me," and cry. So when I was 2 years old, my dad wanted like custody of me. So he wanted to get a DNA test and all that to make sure like I was his son, because he had that gut feeling that I was his son. So he got a DNA test. I was 99.9% his son, so I was legit his son. But I got forced in this lie where my stepdad was my dad. And my mom was a Fruit Loop. Like she was very fucked up, very religious too, which is the weird thing.
Has that made you hate religion?
See, now that I'm older, I wouldn't say I hate religion, but people that believe in a religion, they don't need to put it on someone else. Like just let people live their life how they want. Let them think how they want. Like you don't need to tell people how to live. We all live once, and religion is just a faith, which is believing something. And I feel like a lot of people that, I don't want to say too much about religion because it's always like a controversial topic.
Yeah.
But I believe faith is just for people that are afraid of death, because they're afraid of like when you die, you die. I believe that's the reality of life. Like when we die, that's it. Like it's the same as what happens before we're born. And a lot of people hate me for saying that shit. Like they're like, "Oh, dude, you don't know the truth." It's like no one does. If that
and it's okay that you believe that, bro. Like you're allowed to have, as you said, everyone tries to, and in this day and age, we've got so many like gurus, mentors, coaches, all this like podcasters.
Everyone knows the answers now.
Right? And it's like, we don't have the discernment to go, no, this is what I believe. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And maybe, I'm always open to new shit, right? Like I'm big into, like I'm pretty woo-woo sometimes with spirituality and things like that. But like for me, energetics, I say same thing. It's like, and it's, I've come to terms with death. I'm like, fuck, as you said, it's going to happen one day. So why not use that as a driver to do everything I can? And I'm sure you're in the same place, right?
Yeah.
But that's come from what you've been through as a kid. Now, like having your dad go through that, I'm assuming that bond with you and him became really strong.
Yeah, so my dad got full custody of me when I was 5 years old. So with my mum and my stepdad, I got abused as a kid. I don't really talk about that a lot. There's fucking so many stories I got back then. Like with my stepdad beating me, and my mum like used to watch, and I watched my mum get beat by him. I remember a lot of stories. I remember this one in particular. My mum filmed me try to frame my dad of rape. So she come up with this story where like I had to rape a teddy bear, like hump a teddy bear, to make my dad like look like a rapist when my dad wasn't. Obviously, so she could get full custody of me and my dad couldn't have him. So I remember I would get a toy after it. And I remember she gave me this Batman toy. And I remember after that video, I held the Batman toy, and then across the hall was my stepdad and my mum. And I remember her just like get slapped, and then she was on the floor crying. And I remember seeing that at a young age, and I remember how weak I felt. I remember like just being so young and so vulnerable. So yeah, that was tough, especially now that I'm older. Like that's why I want to learn how to like properly fight. Like I want to become a fighter just because it gives me more of a sense of like anger release.
Of course, bro. And thank you for sharing that so openly, because I'm sure, like, knowing the area you're from and what I've done a bit of research into is like, it's pretty prominent, right? Like down there near Blacktown and that sort of thing. And it's pretty prominent fucking everywhere. Like,
it is, yeah.
I'm from the Sunshine Coast, right? Everyone perceives it as this really lovely, really nice, laid back. And we've got some of the locations there are some of the worst suicide rates in Australia. You know what I mean? And it's probably because they're in this really nice place, and they see everyone driving around having a sick time, but they're struggling day to day, being abused by their parents or things like that.
The thing is as well, people that come up in a bad life normally turns into good. Like life does get better, but then the people that have it good normally turns to bad. So for example, like Justin Bieber, for example, like who knows what happened with like Diddy and all that.
Wow, bro, that was wild.
That was sad, but like it just shows like he had everything young, but is he happy now? So it's like he had good to bad, and then ours is like bad to good. You know what I mean? So we see just different value in certain things. We like if we got a new car today, we'll be so fucking proud of it because it's like holy shit, like we earned this. But if you don't earn certain things, or if you don't go through betrayal, failure, heartbreak, trauma, depression, all that type of shit, then I just don't. Obviously, some people see the value, but you'll see the value a lot more when you don't have that sort of thing.
Bro, you've nailed it, because last year, like I got myself a Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, and I was like, this is sick, like a SUV, something big enough for me. And I was just so proud of it, bro, because like I've never been good with money my entire life. You know, I'm 34 now, so I've overcome a lot of that. But my whole life, as you just said, if I earn something, I'm like, fuck, this actually just happened. But it came from, as you said, the hardships I went through as a kid. And people look at hardships so differently too. Like, I'd love to know, because I'm sure people are listening right now and hear what you've just said and gone, fuck, I've been through that. How did you actually make it through that? Did you develop this mindset by yourself as a younger kid to help you get through that? Or did you have someone supporting you?
Are you talking about when I was younger? Or now?
Yeah. Like that stuff you went through that you just said, how did you continue to move through that? Like,
dude, the funny thing is, like, this sounds fucked up, but from the age of 10, so my life's always been like that, and I believe everyone's life's like a heartbeat. It's like it's up and down. So when I finally got with my dad, that was like the high rise. Like it started here, went up, had like stepbrothers and stuff, went down, moved to my nan's, it was up, lost my best friend, and etc. Right? So I've always gone through a lot of shit my whole life until I was like 18, stuff sort of stopped. So from the age of 10 to 18, I was suicidal.
yeah, wow.
So I'll tell you a story that I actually don't think I've told. When I was 10 years old, after my best friend passed away, after he got hit by the car, me and my cousin were going for a ride, and we're just riding our bikes, and we saw this girl, teenager, have cuts all on her arm. She was just bleeding and she was crying, and this was in Marion. And then she had a syringe in the other hand. And I remember seeing that when I was 10. I was like, what's this girl doing? Like, why is she got blooded? Like, I thought she was a zombie when I was that young. Like, I always thought, like, what the fuck? Yeah. So me and my cousin, like, sped off really fast. And then we stopped, and my cousin kept going, and I stopped, and I turned around. And then I remember her mum pulling up and just screaming at her, slapped her, and put her in the car. And then I sort of saw a sense of, like, happiness in her when she was bleeding. Even though she was crying, I could see, like, happiness. And I remember seeing that. And when I was 11, I did it for the first time, like I self-harmed. And I felt so much happiness from it, as bad as that sounds.
No, can you explain that? Because that's big. Like, because people need to understand this stuff, right?
Yeah, like self-harm is, let's just imagine you've got like bricks on your back, right? It's like you take off the backpack off and you feel so free. It's like you got a demon inside you and you just need to release all that fucking demon out of you.
Okay.
So every time I was self-harmed at a younger age, I would feel so much better. And it was like a cry for help because I couldn't open up. So no one actually saw my arms until I was around, I remember a couple people saw it, like when I was playing footy, I used to have scratch marks because I used to scratch my arm like this from anxiety. My coach would be like, yo, you all right? Because my arm was just bleeding, like not from a footy wound. It was just you could see the cuts. He asked if I was right, but never like asked again. It was just like a one-time thing during the game. So like no one ever really noticed it until high school, where my high school teacher saw it one day because it was like a 40-degree day. I had a blazer on and she's like, just take the blazer off. Like, it's so hot. Like, you just need to take it off. And dude, I just remember bawling my eyes out, And her name, better not say her name, but she was my homeroom teacher, my Italian teacher. And I remember she just hugged me, and because I never had a mum and I never had like softness, it was like my family was very hard, and like we're Greek as well. So
Yeah.
like I love my dad. Like he's always taught me to be a man, be tough. And I love that about him. It's like taught me to be who I am today. My uncle as well. He's always been there. He's always called me Showtime, meaning
nice.
like it's always time to show. So it's showtime. And then my nan as well, she was a big influence to me. She was the toughest girl I knew. Like she would tell me not to waste my time with women, become your first priority, your pocket's your best friend. Like all these quotes she used to tell
like
me.
old school quotes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm old school as well, just because
I can feel that from you, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not 20. Like you've got this like old school vibe about you, which is cool.
Yeah, it's just like, what's the word? Manners. It's just simple manners. Like people don't even have manners these days, dude, especially my age. Like they don't know how to shake a hand. They don't know how to go up to a lady, kiss her on the cheek when you hug her. Like all those little things is just manners, but people just don't seem to have that anymore.
And that was from your grandma?
That's from my nan, yeah.
Bro.
So she was a big influence.
Shout out to Nan.
Yeah.
Is she with us still, or?
No, she passed away last year, unfortunately.
Oh, no way. How did that go when you lost her?
That hurt because I've seen my dad cry 3 times in my life. My best friend died the day I tried killing myself, and then that day, I remember I was asleep. He woke me up at 5 a.m. just fucking crying, dude. And I was like, if my dad cries, or if anyone's dad cries, you like know something's up.
Bro, when you see a man cry,
Dude, it's
especially your dad, it's pretty wild, hey? It's
Yeah,
tough.
because you never see your dad like, that's another thing. You never see your parents as humans. You think they're like...
Would you say, like, because I know there's a lot of men that listen to this, did it make you feel better seeing your dad show some emotion?
See, that's the thing. When he did it at 10, like, I was like, this is my guy.
Yeah. You felt connected to him, right?
Yeah, like, I loved my dad. Like, I love my dad. Even when I fell off the bike the other day, he's like, instead of being like, oh, you're right and shit, he's just like, fuck, you got hurt less than footy. And I was like, such a dad thing to say, eh?
It reminds me of my dad. Yeah, but I guess, like, this is the thing, bro. Like, I can tell you're very close with him. That bond you built from, say 10 till now, how is he going now? Like, how's everything going for your connection now after you went through what you did recently?
See, the thing that broke my heart, and it still gets me to this day, is when I did try killing myself, he told me, you're making me look like a bad dad. And I was like, that's the last thing I wanted, because it wasn't him. I thought I was doing good for the world. And the conversation we had about suicide being selfish, when you're suicidal, there are 2 ways. There is you're selfish about it, where you don't think of anyone, you're just thinking about yourself. But
in this tunnel.
Yeah, but then there's the other side where it's like, you think you're doing everyone a favor. So I thought I was doing people a favor if I just left. I felt like I was the problem. I felt like I don't know, dude. I just thought I went through the worst life possible and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, and so anyone listening, I spoke to Caleb about this before, where I was in the same hole at the same age, where my feeling was that I didn't want to burden anyone else. And obviously it's not the case. We don't want to sit here and glorify any of it and, all that sort of stuff. But we just want to humanize it. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I think that's what actually puts a stigma on it, actually people opening up still.
That's what makes it worse though.
Yeah.
Like, I remember someone had come up, actually no, it was my psychologist in high school. She said, you're being selfish. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This makes you feel worse, right?
Yeah, dude, I remember I was so pissed off at that moment. Like, it was like a little room like that, like a tiny little room. I was just talking to her and she said, you're being selfish. Like, all you have to do is this, this, and this. But that little thing she said, I was like...
And you never forgot it, hey?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why would you say that?
Yeah.
And a kid with bro, I'm not gonna lie, I've got anger issues. Not anymore, I'm so chill, which is so weird. But like, I had a lot of anger issues as a kid. So I used to like let it out by playing football, like kickboxing and stuff like that.
Yep.
So her saying that like really fucking built a rage in me. I remember later in that day, I had one of the biggest punch-ons I had in school.
How old were you?
16. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, 16, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going through like testosterone, puberty, life, abuse, like everything.
Fucking breakup as well at that time, my first breakup.
Right.
So
and then that fight could have potentially, if you hurt someone, come out the wrong way as well. And then that comment triggered all of it, right?
Exactly. And saying someone's selfish for wanting to kill themselves is just the worst way to go about it. I think there's certain things you don't say to people that are suicidal. you don't say everything's going to be okay. Because when you say that, they're like, it's not okay. That's going to be the answer straight away.
There's no validation in how you're feeling, right?
Yeah. Like you need to ask, what's the problem?
Yeah.
How can I help you? Etc.
How can I support you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, or you just change the subject and like say it in a way like you start making jokes and stuff. Then when they start to open up, that's when you ask, how are you actually doing? Like, I'm not just going to go up to my best mates and be like, yo, bro, you all good?
Yeah.
Like, you mentally all good? Like, it's just fucking weird. Like, especially for guys, like, it's just a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
But if you go up to them, crack a couple jokes, be normal, and then you ask the question when you feel more open. Like, for example, us, like, we're about to have a deep chat now, but just before we're just humans, like, we're just talking like the boys.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier to open up.
Well, it's you feel comfortable, man. Like
Exactly,
everyone wants
yeah.
to feel accepted, right? So if you trust me and I trust you, I'm like, maybe I can tell Caleb a couple of things. And unconsciously you start to open up slowly. So, and I'd love to touch on this subject, bro, because I've got a lot of listeners that I started this to help with mental health stuff. You know, I'm very open about it. I've been called out a couple of times because I might share too much and all these things, right? But like you and I said, it's like, fuck, the less we talk about it, the more the shit keeps going. So what you just said is really interesting to me because with the work I do, I work with a lot of men, you know, 30, 40, 50, young lads as well. But you're exactly right. The reality of it is that most men won't just come up and be like, hey, I'm really fucking struggling. So can you give us some tips on what's really helped you and your circle around you to help them start opening up?
I think it just comes from me opening up. Like authenticity.
Like leading from the front, right?
Yeah, like it has to be one person that just changes the circle. So yeah, with me, like I can honestly speak to anyone and I can tell them my darkest secrets. I can tell them my truth. I can tell them my story, and I'm so authentic about it and vulnerable that they can open up to me.
Yep.
And I believe if you're just an easygoing person and you can just communicate to anyone, you can read a room, etc., then anyone can open up to you. So that's my main thing. Like you said before about humanizing people and stuff. Like I want to just talk to people and make them feel comfortable. Like there's no need to be arrogant. There's no need to have an ego. There's no need to believe that I'm someone better just because I'm fucking making money. Like money doesn't mean shit.
No.
So it's like, if you just walk into a room, you're super nice, you crack jokes, it's the easiest way. Like
The word that comes to me is authentic.
Yeah.
Because when you're authentic, people see that and they go, fuck, maybe I can actually stop putting the mask on that I put on every time I walk out the door and start being like Caleb. And because of your age, bro, like, I don't know if you know the statistics or anything, like, and I don't know off the top of my head, but it's gotten worse for kids around your age. Because again, what we said before, there's so much pressure, right? To be someone, to do something. And I mean, did you feel that pressure coming into when you really went to take your life at, was it 18?
Yeah.
What was the crutch that was leading up to that? Like, what was making you really get to that point finally?
Like what made me suicidal?
Yeah, like what was that real, like was there a moment where it was like, obviously it was a build up for years, right? We've got trauma, we've got things happening, but was there some things that really started to almost like force you down that path?
Yeah, it would, there was a couple things. It was loneliness. I felt like I was the odd one out all the time. Like I felt like I just couldn't fit in.
Yeah.
So my whole life, like when I was younger, for example, when my dad first got custody of me, he couldn't afford like school clothes and shit for me. So I went to primary school with literally fucking like random like custom clothes, or what's it called, mufti.
Yeah.
So I just wore whatever I wanted because I couldn't afford the school clothes, and people would like bully me for that.
Yeah.
And when my mum didn't take care of me, like she never washed me, she never bathed me, she never cut my nails and stuff like that. So I would rock up to school like the smelly kid, and I've got like a fear of smelling like shit. So when people say like, oh bro, you smell, like, dude, I go to another type of anxiety, where it's just like, fuck, like.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the suicidal, it just built up from like just feeling lonely, not feeling good enough. The fear of failure was a big part. And yeah, I just felt like I was disappointing my dad. Like I felt like I had so much to give, but I couldn't do it. So I thought if I just left my dad, he could live a better life.
Which obviously wasn't the case at all, right? But no. What happened after that, bro? Because I know your story a bit, right? But for the listener, they're probably thinking, holy shit, how did this kid go from what you went through to all of a sudden doing what you're doing now, it feels like fear of failure is not necessarily something you even worry about anymore. Failing's like something you've embraced, right?
Yeah.
But I love the brand which you've created, which we'll get to. But what was that chain of events after all of that played out, and what really started to shift in you?
It was weird. So the night after I tried killing myself, I messaged Ice, like my old boss, and I just told him like, "Yo, bro, please don't tell anyone about this," because I was embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised that I survived, honestly. And I was just in hospital. My dad was freaking out because my phone was just dead and shit. So I messaged Ice. I said, "Please don't tell anyone." None of the boys knew about it in the office.
So Ice was the first dude you messaged?
Besides my dad, yeah.
Yep.
Because I fucking didn't know how to tell. But I had to tell him because I wasn't going to be in work because obviously he was in hospital. And he said, "All good, bro. Take a couple of days off." And I remember when I went back to the office, dude, like Ice is not really a vulnerable guy. He's more like the old school Kiwi, like tough and shit.
Yeah. Not talk about your emotions.
Yeah. But I remember I just walked in the office and he's like, "Dude, you're okay? Like, what happened?"
That's cool.
And I fucking just bawled my eyes out, bro, because, yeah, I just felt so lonely because I didn't have my high school teacher anymore. I never wanted to tell my dad my things just because, like, I didn't want to put him on him. Like, he's got enough stress. Like, being a father is, like, next level, like, stress, especially being a single dad.
Yep.
Going through what he went through. So I just never wanted to put that pressure on him. So, yeah, like, I just bawled my eyes out crying to Ice. And then, yeah, dude, like, I just had a different type of, like, fuel hit me. I was like, fuck, I'm here now. And that's when I started recording my documentary.
Yeah, well, even just you have footage of you from that night, hey?
Yeah.
So I wanted to share this with you, bro, because I know you've had a few people ask you, like, why did you do that? I get it. I fucking did the same thing. Now, why I did it when I was having panic attacks and shit in 2020, something in me wanted to be able to help others. Even though I thought I was dying because of this panic attack I was having, because I had panic attacks all my life with anxiety and all this shit. And when old Cove Dick came through and ruined life, and my partner got locked out of the country, I had this full-time job, my life was finally good, and fuck, the emotion's coming up now. I was frustrated because I was like, why the fuck am I back here? I've overcome this stuff. Why am I feeling like this again? And I had these panic attacks, and I somehow like started recording them. I even I know there's a bit where I like pass out holding the phone, and then I wake up again and I'm like, fuck, I gotta keep recording so people see what this shit is. And that's why I did it, because I wanted to help others. I was still in that moment of like thinking I'm dying, thinking about helping others with this shit.
That's crazy.
So, and I think about it, and I know people took the piss out of me, right? Because I finally posted it and showed like what I've been through, because I think people look up to me and go, "You're Trav, you're the technician, you're sweet, you help people with this stuff." But I've always struggled, and I needed to show that polarity of life, because as we said, ups and downs, right? And the only fucking way to sew a wound up is by sewing it up, ups and downs. And I had a down day that day, but showing people that shit, as cringe as it might be for some people, for most of the people, they go, holy fuck, that's what I've been through.
But that's the thing. It's all about helping the people that need it. Tell you the best thing I always see. It's like a fat person will always hate a shredded person. A poor person will always hate a rich person. And an unsuccessful person will always hate the successful person.
Yep.
But when I filmed, bro, I filmed it for my dad. I was never going to post it. Like, that was never my intention. I literally recorded it for my dad. I took a lot out of that documentary, by the way. Like, I took about 20 minutes worth. But yeah, I filmed it.
Because you didn't want to show too much, obviously, or?
Yeah, I got a bit too, like,
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Like, with, like, old photos and stuff like that. But, yeah, I made that video for my dad because I used to watch people kill themselves on YouTube. And they would have, like, letters. And they said, like, today is the day I'm going to kill myself, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, if I can give that to my dad, he will know why I did it. Like, he wouldn't think it's his fault. Like, I never wanted him to think it was his fault. So yeah, that's why I filmed it, eh? So when people say to me, like, why do you show yourself crying? Like, why do you scream in a car and shit? It's like, fuck, Mike Tyson's cried on the camera before, bro. Like, you've never cried before? Like, and this new stigma where it's like the Tate thing, for example. Like, a lot of people don't know I actually met Andrew Tate, but where it is where it's like I'm crying and the people are like, oh, you got to be a man, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I met Andrew Tate and like he said to me when I opened up, well, no, sorry, not Andrew, Tristan. When I opened up to Tristan, I told him my story and stuff. He said, bro, I don't give a fuck. He said, nobody gives a fuck, which is true.
Yep.
He said, the past is past. Oh, sorry, the past is depression, your future is anxiety, and the present is now. That's all you need. And my friend gave me a quote yesterday. It's focus on where your feet are on the grass. Ooh. Each step you take is all you should be worrying about. Like the reality right now, we're having a conversation. That's what we should be focusing on. That should be our attention. Our attention shouldn't be what's happening in 2 hours or what's for dinner. Like that shit doesn't matter. We could die in 2 minutes. We could die in 1 minute. So a lot of people are so distracted now where a lot of us, and I think the biggest problem with society is we don't stop and think. Like when was the last time you just stopped and thought? So,
well, let's take it a step further. When was the last time you stopped and felt?
Felt?
Most people don't stay in their bodies, bro. And the only way that we go to the future or the past is with this thing. So if you actually stayed in your body more, you wouldn't think about the shit.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Know, like, because if I'm in my body right now, like I'm vibing off this. Like I love podcasting. I love conversations. I love opening up. I love giving value to the listener. And you're correct, bro. Like I'm here. There's parts of me that might drift off sometimes thinking about where can I take this conversation and things like that. But that's me being present and building what I'm building. But outside of this, I don't know how you are with it, but do you still go back to sometimes those places and there's still that depression seeps in? Like, are you still kind of in your stuff?
The thing is, like, you're obviously self-aware as well. So
probably too self-aware sometimes.
Exactly. So self-aware is a blessing and a curse. But once you get to the point where you're self-aware about your emotions, like, for example, bro, I spiral a lot.
Yep.
Like if something bad happens, I'm just like, most of the time I'm like, it is what it is. But then another thing happens, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, like, what the fuck? And then you start to get in this spiral, but I'm aware of that. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I know I'm pissed off right now. I'm going to use this pissed off energy to fucking go home and fix that.
Coming back to what Tristan said, when he said that, what was your initial reaction?
When he first said it, I was like,
fuck you.
No, that was more like I was shocked. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
like, fuck you. I was like, what the fuck? But then it's like, someone like him and what he's done and what he's accomplished, what he's been through, it's like, who am I to say that?
Yeah.
So I just listen. Like my main thing, bro, and what I've learned a lot and I've achieved a lot is because I just listen. I don't care who you are. Like if someone's doing, let's just say less than me, they might know something that I don't know. So I always listen because yeah, there's knowledge to be learned everywhere. You
can always learn, bro. And I guess coming to that point, because I'm sure heaps of people want to know, like what are some of the best things you took away from that experience in your life where you got to meet the boys, you got to meet, I've forgotten his name now, Luke Belmar. Like, I know you said Luke probably helped you the most because that dude is like smart as fuck, bro. And some of the things he was saying
took me to another realm, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think he was a big part of you, like moving through your stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So we don't talk anymore. He probably hates me. Like we become really close, bro. Like, but then I just said like, dude, I can't do this. Like, I didn't like, he had this mindset of like, being slaves and NPCs and shit. And he was talking about people being slaves. And I was like, fuck, dude, I'm your slave right now. Like, it started making sense to me. Like, fuck you. Like, and he's a good manipulator. Like, I'll give him that. But because I learned from Ice what that was like, I sort of had that, like...
Awareness,
yeah. So, yeah, Luke honestly changed my life, bro. Like, he taught me shit that I would never have think of. Like, I was never a person that wanted money and shit, but... when I got to experience that lifestyle, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, this is freedom. Like, he asked me shit I've never thought about. I never thought about anything before I met him.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I was retarded in a sense where I was like, bro, I didn't even know why I woke up in the morning. I didn't know why I do certain things. I didn't know what I wanted to achieve. Like, I stopped playing footy and I just felt lost, dude. And then this guy just comes in, kicks me in the ass. He's like, what do you want? I was like, oh, I want to inspire the world with my story. It's like, why? I don't know. It's like, how are you going to do it? I don't know. And him just like making me question myself, because I was with him for 2-3 months. I was fucking literally like, he was in that bed, I was in this bed. Like every day was just learning something new. And it wasn't just small things. It was like big chunks, the way I talk, tonality, manipulation, gaslighting, positive energy, positive thinking, like all these things. I was like, holy shit, like I'm learning so much. And then other things like high school, for example, he taught me little things like, why do you think the system makes you do a test alone? because you're weaker alone. You think less alone.
Yep.
It's harder. You stress more. But when you're in a group, you're going to get a higher mark than individual. So you need a group of people. You need a group of dudes that want the same goal. They want the highest mark in that test.
Bro, imagine everyone felt comfortable to ask for help.
Exactly.
Like, we wouldn't have to struggle with anything because we'd just go and be like, hey, Ray, what's the answer to this?
Yeah.
And learn from it. Don't just make it easy for yourself. But we've literally been conditioned and programmed not to ask for external support. Like we said before, we've both felt like fucking burdens to our own family.
Yeah.
Right? Even to our own mates. And I can scream from the top of the ceiling to all the men that I help and the women, even in my men's work events, I'd be like, boys, I've gone through this weekend of like fucking bringing up all your shit. Please reach out afterwards if you need support. And then 4 weeks later, I'll find out someone's really struggling and they haven't asked me anything. And again, you can scream and tell people, hey, if you're struggling, please tell us. Like, how much mental health awareness is there now? There's still not enough, I believe.
See, I don't even know if there's any, dude.
They talk about shit, but it's not real awareness, is it?
It's not. It's fake. Like,
Yeah.
Are you okay day? There's a day for Are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's someone that fucking just passed away yesterday because they couldn't make the next day for Are you okay day. Like, I don't.
Fuck, that's such a big, that's hectic to look at it that way. It's literally, just because we didn't do it a day before, that person that needed to hear that now isn't here.
Exactly. That's the thing that, oh, dude, it fucking, like, I got goosebumps right now. It really pisses me off because, like, dude, there's so many people that need help. I was talking to my taxi driver getting to the podcast studio, and not all heroes wear capes. Like, this taxi driver was telling me a story about this guy that was about to kill himself because he accidentally had a kid and he was like 18 and he just couldn't handle it all. And he basically saved this kid's life. And he's a taxi driver. But no one's going to ever remember this guy. No one's going to ever think of him. So you don't need to be someone great or like great because fuck, it's all just delusion.
Yeah.
But if you just like impact someone's day, if you impact a person's day each day, like you'll feel better about yourself and you're helping, like you can save someone's life.
Oh, bro, I can't resonate with something more. I think what gets me in trouble is that I would do this shit for free. Like, I love what I do so much, but because I have that mindset, I'm not that great at business. I fucking love business. I get so into it. Like, I love talking about marketing, branding, the ideas behind it, the concepts. But there's so much of me that feels bad to charge for people to help them. It makes no sense to me.
But the thing is, bro, you got to remember it's a tool.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like, who's going to feed your family?
Exactly, bro.
So that's the way I look at it. Look at it.
Well, you're also, and I heard you say this, and I'm very much in the same mindset. It's like, if I make millions of dollars, or when I make millions of dollars, I can build a fucking place to help people for free.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Have a hub, which I can already envision it. It's like this full hub with a gym, different psychologists, counselors, coaches. Like, you could walk in there one day for $10, walk out, you're good. Like, why not? Why couldn't we have something like that?
Yeah, see, I want to do an orphanage when I'm older.
Ooh, that'd be hectic.
Like, something about orphans just, like, fucking motivates me. It's like, these kids have it worse than I ever had because they've never actually seen their biological, like, parents, so.
And that gives off mad, like, superhero vibes too.
Yeah, I'm going for the Batman vibe.
Yeah, bro. So he's, like, one of my top 5. So, like, I've got your Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, like the OGs, right?
Yeah.
But then I've got my, like, Wolverine. I fucking love Wolverine. But I love superheroes because the stories behind it, the concepts that are built from them. And the one thing I always heard that really resonated was that the superhero and the villain are born the same. But the journeys they go on is what makes them different. So one wants to teach the world how it hurt them, and one wants to save the world because of the way they were hurt. So it's like Superman wants to help and save everyone.
Because they don't want that same feeling.
Right? But then the Joker wants to hurt everyone because he was hurt when he was growing up. So you're born the same people, the same everything, but the world is what creates you either a villain or a superhero, right? So you could have easily gone down the villain path, right? Because of the way you were treated and the things that were done to you. But you've chosen the superhero vibe. Like, how does that feel?
So it's funny you said that, bro, because my inspiration is Spider-Man. That's literally why I became a photographer.
Spider-Man, fuck,
Because
Peter Parker. Yeah, right.
So I've always wanted to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and also Peter Parker where he takes videos.
Oh, something just popped in. Did you used to watch a lot of this stuff when you were a kid?
Like Spider-Man stuff?
Yeah,
dude, all the time.
It was like your escape, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, when we started this podcast, what was the first toy I got?
Spider-Man.
That was Batman.
Oh, Batman. Yeah, fuck, of course.
Yeah, dude. So the thing with what you watch and what you consume, and a lot of people don't do this, is when you consume something, what's the intention behind it? So when I watch superhero movies, and I was even young as well, I wouldn't think, oh, it's cool, it's a vigilante, whatever. Like, no, what has this person done to make himself this person? So Spider-Man, he lost Uncle Ben. He could have went down the villain route, like
He nearly did too.
Yeah, he nearly did, like when he went to Black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But he took the positive out of it, and he made sure he was the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, he didn't want that shit to happen to other people.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like, what you're doing is like proper superhero shit, right? And now when we talk about it, you're not going around flying around in a cape and like saving people and all these things, but fuck, you're making a difference. And we talked about that message you got from like that girl. Does that happen quite regularly from people now?
Yeah, I get, like, my emails I get is literally titled suicidal.
Shit.
So last year around November and December, around August, I got one message that fucking hit me deep. And I honestly thought to myself, like, am I posting the right things? Am I doing the right thing? Because she watched my documentary and she said, like, this has made me like want to kill myself because she believes she couldn't achieve what I achieved. I'm like, it's not about me. Like, my story is different to yours. And like, whatever you want, you can achieve. Like, I go back 100%. To that. It's like that book my dad read to me when I was a kid, The Engine That Could. Bro, I fucking think of it every day. I talk about it all the time because that train said he can't. But then when he said he could, he fucking could and he can. Like, that's all it takes. A little mindset shift. Like, it's not hard.
It's true, bro. And like, people don't want to believe it's that simple though. So what I teach a lot of clients is, it's an old I think it was Tony Robbins, but I think Bob Proctor also said it. It was like, where your focus goes, energy flows. So if you are constantly thinking about the negative and speaking about the negative, the universe is like, cool, here's all the negative shit then. Vice versa, if you're a positive motherfucker and if you look at the positive things and the good things, it's usually what your life will be created around, right? I actually heard Tate say that once in a YouTube video I was watching of him. And he's like, self-hypnosis. If you're constantly talking shit about yourself, the world conspires to create that for you. But if you are constantly going, I'm the man, I'm grateful, I'm this, I'm happy, most of the time the universe conspires to give exactly that, right? So knowing now the life you've created based off what you learned from some great male mentors by the sounds of it. Actually, there was someone I wanted to ask you about. I don't know his name, but he's always with the Tates on the podcast. He's got like the... Justin
Weller?
That sounds about right. Yeah, he cops a lot of shit, bro. What's he like behind the scenes?
The Ranger dude, yeah?
Yeah,
he's cool.
Because he's brutal in some of his videos, right? But is he genuinely like a good dude? He was a good dude to you?
Bro, when I met them, I'm like, it's like you're literally just hanging out with the boys, eh?
Yeah.
But on steroids, because like they can do whatever they want. Like, the lifestyle they had, so after Romania, we flew to London. They took a private jet and we were with Tristan and stuff, and he bought a $10,000 suit. And dude, I had like $1,000 in my bank account.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy's just spent 10 grand. I've never had 10 grand. Like,
did that then make you like feel like you could do it though?
Yeah, because like, I just kept asking him questions, bro. Like every moment I had when I was like not filming, I would ask. But even when I was filming, like they were just spitting bars, bro. Like I've got so much footage where I just look back at it that I didn't post on Luke's video.
Yep.
Where there was so much information. I was like, fuck, like no one can ever see this shit besides me because I've got it.
Yeah,
or
that's
unless
your
you're in that
information.
room.
And that's what you get for going after your shit. You could have said no to Luke. I remember watching that part of the video where it's like, yeah, you had that conversation. Was it with him or like his assistant or something?
He so this guy named Zach referred me to Luke because he could like watch all my stuff, commented and stuff. And then Luke called me at 4 a.m. in the morning, and dude, like, I had nothing to lose, like straight up. So when I told my dad I'm getting flown to Albania and shit, my dad's like, no way. Kept telling me about the movie Taken and shit. But I was like, fuck, man, like, Dad, this could be the best thing for me. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Like, I've already tried killing myself. And this is another thing actually I want to talk to you about and let me know your thoughts. I believe that people who've tried to commit suicide, they've already lost a life. So when they keep moving forward in life, it feels like a part of So there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, fuck, bro. That's a great way to look at it because I've never. But that's, yeah, it's like the old Trav in that moment when I was about to drive the car into the tree. It's like he instantly was gone once I made the decision not to. It's like that new part of me is like, now, well, I've been at rock bottom. Can't get any fucking worse than that. Let's go like this. And I was very lucky to have a partner at the time that was really supportive, bro. Like, you didn't have a girlfriend or anything when you were going through your shit, right?
All alone, man.
I wouldn't still be here if I didn't have my missus at the time. Honestly, like Gracie, shout out to Grace. I'm still mates with her. I'm still mates with all my exes. Like, people think I'm weird for that, but like, fuck, man, they help support me in life.
Yeah.
You know, like, and none of them was ever bad breakups or anything. It was just part of my journey. My fiance now, like, she loves that about me. She's got nothing against them. I wouldn't be with someone who's fucking jealous because I don't believe in that shit. So, yeah, man, like I do believe that that's a part of it. It's like you hit the rock bottom of your life, and then you decide.
There's only one way up, man.
Right. So let's speak about your one way up for a sec because I think we've already done like nearly an hour as well.
Holy
it's going
shit,
by
dude.
quick, man. Fuck, I love this conversation because
I could talk for 3 hours with you,
this is
man.
the thing. It's
You're
like
good to talk to. Like,
I feel like what happens is that, as we said before, I know what you felt. I still know what you feel. I can feel it. So what I do is like I help people like yourself. So I can feel your energy. I can feel their sadness. And that's not to like out you or anything, but I just know what you're going through, right? In a way, because I've fucking been there and I'm still there sometimes. But I just want also, I say that because I want anyone listening to be like, hey, you might look at people like myself and Caleb, as we said before, and be perceived a certain way and go, oh yeah, it's easy for them to say, but they got this, this and this. But bro, like I'm sure still behind the scenes, you're struggling with shit, right?
yeah, bro, 100%. Dude, I made 400K last year and I lost it all in around August. And
Learned from losing it, right?
Oh yeah, I've learned now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, actually, no, I still haven't learned.
Nah.
But it's like you go through. The thing is, when you go through hard moments now, because you're so self-aware, it's like you don't have that victim mentality. When you're when you first go through sadness and depression and stuff, you have the victim mentality that it's all you.
Yep.
Like you think, oh, the life hates me, blah, blah, blah. But all you have to think is not why me, try me.
Ooh.
So every time,
Why me, try me.
I normally always get pissed off in the shower. I don't know why. Like,
Yeah, okay.
my shower is like my thinking time. I don't listen to music in the car or anything. Like,
Yeah.
I'm always just in peace, quiet. That's when I'm like mostly like motivated, pissed off, and I start to think. So yeah, when I'm sad, bro, I just think, try me. Like, fuck, you've tried to beat me before, but I'm not your bitch anymore. Like,
Yeah. And you've got that leverage of pain now.
yeah.
Do you use anger a lot?
Yeah, 100%. I've never actually thought of that. I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. And it's not a bad thing. I think people put like, they say anger is a bad thing, but if you can
But you can
leverage it into
control it.
passion,
Yeah.
anger into passion, bro, unstoppable. Like I know Hormozy uses it quite a bit. His thing was proving his dad wrong for ages and probably still uses that. But one thing he talks about is like, once you've used one leverage point, you need to find another. So passion and anger can only be used for so long, then it becomes bigger. So for me, mine was proving people wrong. Mine was, because I got counted out so many times, bro. Like to go from, yeah, you're going to be the football player, to I was like working at my local IGA. You know what I mean? Like that polarity of like, that fucked me up. But then to be the guy that was getting on socials a little bit, being a part of the footy boys, I copped a lot of shit. It's like, Trav, what are those videos you're putting up, bro? It's weird. What's this podcast thing you're doing? You know, I copped a lot of shit for it. And not much support, as you would probably know with what you've gone through,
Tall
right?
poppy syndrome in Australia.
Yeah, man. And I get it. I don't judge. In the start, it really pissed me off. But now I get it. Like, I understand it. And I know that I'm just kind of mirroring a lot of their insecurities. Because most people don't go after their dreams, bro.
You know,
How many people?
tell you the best quote I heard, and I put it on my story the other day. Don't take risk, work for someone who did.
Ooh, shit. Okay. So
And-
now that you're taking risks, you could never work for anyone, hey?
No, but it's like you, bro. Like, you've taken a risk to do everything you've done. Like, yes, you probably still regret the footy thing.
There'd probably be a part of
Like,
me,
deep
yeah.
down, yeah.
Yeah.
So do I, dude. Like, sometimes I'm like, fuck, would have been mad to get that leverage from football, etc.
Yeah.
But then it's like, fuck it. It is what it is. Like,
Look
we've
at what
got
it
one
did to your
life.
health though, right?
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, dude, we're taking the risk. Even if it doesn't work out, we tried, bro. Like,
Well, speaking of risks, I'd love to talk about aticophobia.
aticophobia, yeah.
How's it all going, bro?
It's going good, dude. I'm
Yeah.
fucking got a sale today. It's good.
I was literally went to buy a shirt last night and then I fucking forgot about it.
No,
ADHD, like I was listening to your documentary and I heard you talk about it and I was like, gun, went on to another tab. And then I went back to your Google tab because I've got like a hectic amount of questions here for you, which I haven't touched. So I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even buy the shirt.
Yeah.
So how do your 2XLs go? Because I'm like a 3X, 4X.
Yeah, I'll get you a 3. I wear 3
You
as
do
well.
3X?
Dude, these are my pants. Like,
Are they your brand as well?
these are my pants, yeah.
So they're gun.
Yeah, bro, I've gone, like, people don't understand how much I like
Proper.
know fashion.
Okay, so did you take time to get cut and sew and everything?
Yeah, so I'm learning how to sew now as well. So I'm designing my own, like I want to do one pieces.
Yes.
So yeah, these are my pants. They're hella comfy and shit. But the reason behind aticophobia, like I said, was the fear of failure when I was younger. And it's a Greek word. I'm half Greek. So aticophobia means atiki in Greek.
Yep.
Means unlucky. And I always thought I was unlucky. But aticophobia means fear of failure, which is the English term.
Okay.
So the fear of failure, I believe, holds a lot of people back. So the fear of failure to me back then was the fear of failing, I'm not good enough, etc. Now, the fear of failure, what it means to me is I have no choice. I cannot fail. Like I've got a fear of failing. So, yeah.
Well, I have to agree that most clients I work with, it's either fear of failure or fear of success.
Or judgment as well.
Judgment's huge, bro, because how hard was it for you in the beginning to receive shit? Like, did you get comments and messages like talking shit about you or things like that?
Oh, dude, I still to this day, like, especially like when I worked at YKTR, I was like the odd one out in rugby league because I was playing rugby league and then working for like a brand that's high in the rugby league space, especially at the time. When I started posting like fucking emotional, vulnerable videos, like there's some, like, you know, when you get like a one little comment and you're like, nah, fuck this guy, I'm gonna go back at him.
Yeah.
There's a couple of those here and there, but yeah, it's pretty, like, I don't give a fuck anymore, dude. Like, I know that whatever I'm doing, there's always gonna be good and bad to anything. Like, especially with your podcast, like you've said, people always like say certain things. It's like, dude, who gives a fuck? Like, it is what it is, eh?
I'm at a point where I do this because I love this.
It's fun, eh?
But that holds me back too because I'm like, I haven't gone and like, how do I do a viral clip and all this other bullshit, but I don't really care about it. Like I just want to do content. I want to tell stories. Fuck bro, if this gets 10,000 listens, if it gets 10 listens, like I would love it to get 10,000 for you so people hear your story. But for me, that shit doesn't bother me. Like the whole, me putting in my bio top 100 podcast. Yes, it is a top 100 podcast, but that means fucking nothing to me. But I know people need to see that to then perceive me as valuable, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise no cunt will come on the podcast.
The thing is, bro, it's all a tool. That's something Luke taught me because I used to feel bad about certain things. And he said at the end of the day, it's a tool to get where you need to be to help more people. To help
more people, exactly. And I love that because I was talking to you'll love, bro, Lockie Mitchell. Shout out to Lockie.
Dude, I fucking, yeah.
He's spoken to you?
Yeah, he's messaged me. I followed him yesterday because I was like, fuck.
Bro, he is someone, how long are you here for?
Got no idea, dude.
Anyway, connect with Lockie. So Lockie is like 22, 23, bro.
Oh, true.
He took me through shadow work. He helped me with my shit. I am now an amazing mentor because of Lockie, right? Oh, well, I've obviously done a lot of work, but he was a big part of it because he took me to the deep, dark shit that no one wants to deal with. But he knows how to pull that out. So him and I are actually going to start working with he works with like multi-millionaire
clients and stuff.
Yeah, like entrepreneurs, like young dudes like yourself.
Yeah.
And so what we're able to do is like focus on the shit that might hold you back in business. Because if we see that you can make an impact on the youth, then technically him and I are making a bigger impact on the world by supporting you guys. It's the same thing with Az here, bro. Like he's a massive property developer. So if I can help him be in a good place, he's going to create big, beautiful projects that makes him more money. So then he wants to build a school for like kids with disabilities.
That's sick.
Fuck, that's an impact, bro. Just by me supporting with my mentorship, right?
That's true.
So yeah, people like that, if you start getting them around you that can support you with whatever darkness or whatever you might be going through, you're going to continue to make this beautiful impact on the world. But you just need to ask for the help and have the support there, right? You've had mentors that have helped you, but then if you have some people that can even go deeper, that's when you'll just fucking...
I agree with you. I think as a male especially, the 3 things you need is don't listen to your parents with certain things, a mentor, and a good crew around you. That's the three things.
Have you got a good crew around you?
Yeah, I do. Everyone dude, I do everything alone at the moment.
Yeah.
But I've got like a good mate, Jason Robinson, who's a fucking crazy cinematographer. Got my mate, Mitch Costa, who's in the PT space. Like everyone I talk to now is like, I just have intentions. It sounds like
I get
selfish,
it.
but there's certain things like now that I'm getting older, like it's not using people, but it's
leverage.
It's leverage, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to hang out with people below you. As bad as that sounds, like if you're hanging out with people that, what Chris said actually, he said there's treadmill mates and there's couch mates.
Ooh.
And I've got fucking both of those for sure, and you can tell which one's which.
Yeah.
Where the treadmill mates are, they're ready to fucking go, they're ready to run. Or there's the guys that sit on the couch and just want to chill and shit.
And talk shit about you, most likely.
Yeah, it's always good to have a balance. Like I've got that balance.
100%.
But
because that's the other part, is like having love for anyone that is in that place.
Exactly.
Not judging them, but like,
because at the end,
Well, bro, if you're on a mission and you're on this bullet train that's destroying, going through, you're happy for you to reach out your hand and be like, hey boys, come along. But if they don't want to, that's cool too.
But I still love them, you know?
Exactly. But if there's one motherfuckers and killers that want to jump on and go, yeah, bro, let's go create success, let's create business.
Yeah.
Of course I want, like I'm creating a business called the Elite Rewire Legion. So it's like a legion of men.
Fuck, that's a hectic name.
Yeah,
bro.
so rewire is my thing. So the technicians like rewiring unconscious mind and shadows. So to me, I want elite men that are happy to rewire their shit. But it's like a legion of these men, right? Where we catch up weekly or fortnightly, go through business, mental health, like all that sort of stuff. And it's just like a membership, kind of like your university you've created, right?
Yeah, that's sick.
Which is sick. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, that's where I make like most of my income with
cool.
So yeah, I'm lucky, bro. Like I just want to do things that I love doing. So I've got the clothing, I've got my videography business, I've got my university, I've got the podcast that I want to get like some sponsorships and stuff like that. So
yeah. Oh, dude, you're doing some beautiful things, and I think one thing I want to take you through real quick, just for the value of the listener. I do a thing called Topics with the Tech, and all it is like just sharpshooting questions. You give your answers on whatever you want, but they're things I've come up with just to make sure that anyone wants to really get value from you, they can just listen to this part if they need to. So you ready for this shit?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So now there's probably some things in here that you've already kind of answered, but this will be more structured, so it's like they can hear the question and they're like, oh fuck, okay, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, easy.
So Caleb, what was the turning point that shifted your perspective from darkness to seeking light?
Believing you can do things.
I like that. Did you find that internal belief in yourself, or did someone bring that out in you?
When I reread the book my dad read to me, the engine that could.
Fuck, okay, that's cool. Ooh, I like that. Point.
Perspective.
Can you share a funny moment or anything that happened during this time? This chaos in the last couple of years?
Oh, dude.
I bet you got some fucking stories.
Dude, I've got so many stories, eh? You know that meme where it's like when you and your bro have your first episode and it's the Wolf of Wall Street guys going to prison?
Yeah.
Fuck. Funniest story. I don't know, dude. Every day I have a laugh. Fuck, bro. Like the amount of shit that's changed in my life, like, fuck, going to New York, going on a helicopter, meeting the Tates.
Driving some supercars.
Supercars in Dubai. Like I ride a motorbike in Australia. Like I just got a motorbike. It's fucking, I love that shit. Like
What is it?
I just got a Ninja 300.
Nice.
But I got a new exhaust on it. Like I just fucking, the adrenaline, dude, like, I don't know.
Yep, I get that. What's the most important lesson you've learned as a young entrepreneur so far?
Age is just a number.
Do you get copped a lot about with like how old you are and stuff like that?
You know what? I think it benefits me because when I tell people I'm 20, they get shocked straight away. And they're like, you're 20? And I'm like, yeah. And then they want to work with me more.
That's cool.
So,
Well, even Chris, bro, he's only what, 22 or something?
dude, that shocked me, yeah.
he's smart, man. He switched on. So are you. You've got this like real, like natural charisma. It's like this wisdom.
Yeah.
Whereas his is like, he's like real switched on. Yeah.
See, it's two different personalities. I would say Chris is more of the like very educated, like brought up to be very like particular on how he speaks and stuff.
Yep.
Where I'm more of like I don't know, I feel like I can just relate to more people. Like I'm more of the calm, like he's calm too, but like
I know what you're saying, yeah.
I feel like I just sound more like a person.
Yeah.
He sounds like a person, but he's like very like
He's got some high level like
Yeah,
interactions,
he's like,
bro. His
not many
IQ
people,
would be wild.
not many people will understand his IQ. That's what I believe.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. How do you? Of course, I'll put this question in here. How do you find humor in difficult situations? And can you share an example?
I remember when recently when we fell off the bike, bro. Dude, I was in so much pain. We're all bleeding. Like, I got a video of me and my mate in the car just pissing out blood. So we're pissing out blood, and my mate was stressed out because he's like, dude, like, I nearly killed you, bro. Like, I'm so sorry. He kept saying sorry. So I thought, like, I'm a gaslighter, bro, to my mates. Like, I gaslight the fuck out of him. So I went like that, and I was like, dude, I've lost my finger. And he started freaking out, and he's like, yeah, that was funny.
I like that you have, like you said, that situation could be so much worse if you were full serious about it, right?
Oh, dude, at the start, I was like, fuck, I hate you cunts and shit. But I knew I was being like a bit overboard because, like, dude, I went there to fight, and I told him I didn't want to go out because I don't go out.
Yep.
And I went out with them, fucking trusted him to drive and shit, and I was just so like pissed off. I was like, dude, I told you guys.
Because you don't drink or anything, eh?
Nah.
Yeah.
I did on New Year's, but
yeah.
I was like, guys, I told you I didn't want to go out. So when we crashed, they're all like, all the boys are just like, fuck, out of all the people to crash. Like,
what's the best bit of advice you can remember right now off the top of your head? After the last couple of years, you've met some incredible people. What's something that just keeps popping out for you to remind you to keep going?
think you can and you can.
So your dad's one still? Bro, that's
and
sick.
the no risk. If you don't take risks, then you'll work for someone who did. There's plenty, bro. Like regret at your deathbed.
Yeah. I take people through a process called the Dickens process. And it's kind of like, have you ever seen like the Christmas story where it's like, if you keep being like this is what your life will be. And if you don't do this, this is how it'll turn out. So we literally take you down like a hypnotic like meditation where it's like, if you get down to your deathbed and you're picturing it and you never did the things you told everyone you were going to do, how would that feel? And some people fucking lose their mind. And then we come back down to the start. We take you up the other path where it's like you did everything you said you were going to do. How does that feel? And you're like, oh yeah, this is sick. So giving you the polarity of, if you continue down this path doing what you're doing and nothing changes, this is how it looks. And you can literally elicit that out of someone's unconscious mind. So you can picture and envision, holy fuck, if I don't change, in 5 years, I'm going to look like this. And you can literally see yourself, right? It's wild shit. What's the thing you're most excited about coming forward? Like you're in 2024 now. Last year obviously was like a dream for you. This year, what's some of the big things you've got planned?
I'm most excited about like the power behind like self-belief. Like, dude, I just believe that I can achieve whatever I want.
Yeah.
I think I'm most excited about to fight. Like,
when is it?
Well, it's going to be like, I'm going to try to get a fight in June, but it's hard for amateurs. Like, it's so weird trying to get fights and stuff. So I'm just going to keep training. Like, I need my hands to, like my wrist to recover because it's fractured.
Yep.
And then just try to get in around like July, hopefully.
Epic.
Because yeah, just that excites me. Just like, sounds fucked up too, but I just want to bash someone out. Like, it'd be so good. And then love them after. Like, I'm a person that like,
of course.
Like I'm a lover. Like, I'll fucking thanks for the fight, dude. Like.
Yeah. No, I get that. I thought about doing boxing as well, but for me, I watched way too much of that psychiatrist that was on Stephen Bartlett and that, where he was talking about the CTE like, and all the hits to the head and shit like that. Only because I had 10 plus concussions when I was playing footy.
Dude, I had 10 plus as well in footy. I've been to hospital about 5 times.
Hey,
my dad's
you're still young.
Yeah, my dad's like, why you want to fight? You got a concussion. I'm like, Dad, let me have some peace in life. Yeah.
Yeah, well, dude, and this is the thing, like you get to do whatever you want to do, right? And I mean, like you said, you've been to the bottom. Now you've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got ambitions. Even with your clothing brand, how's that all going?
It's going good, bro. Like
yeah.
Clothing has been the fucking best thing I've ever done. Like I've got so many, like I've got this whole idea for it. So basically with the podcast of Ticophobia, it just aligns with Ticophobia, the clothing brand. And I've never seen a clothing brand have a podcast that's their main source. So the podcast will be the main way that people can relate, feel like they're a part of it. That's why they would buy the outfits.
So big like community sort of focus?
Yeah, but the main reason I started clothing was because I always sucked with fashion. Like when I was younger, I never got proper clothes. I couldn't afford cool clothes. So I want to make a brand where people can just go to my shop and they can literally just have outfits ready for them.
Oh, I like that. It's like they don't have to think.
It's just like a Ticophobia is like, you've got that, like people will look at you and be like, shit, like I'm an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, like let's go.
Yeah, I like that. What's some advice you'd give to anyone wanting to start their own business at the moment?
There's nothing to lose. Like you're delusional for thinking that you have something to lose. You're delusional to think that people are going to give a fuck about you. Because no one gives a fuck, bro. At the end of the day, they might hate, they might send it to their group chat, but last 10 seconds when someone talks shit really does not matter.
Oh, dude, I couldn't, like I've got 2 speaking gigs this weekend and I used to hate public speaking. And I used to think like, fuck, what do you mean I'm going up and talking in front of, 150, 200 people? But you're exactly right.
How did you overcome that? Because I actually struggle with public speaking.
So what happened, bro, was this moment, right? Because I was fucking terrified of it because I had lots of stuff at school where...
Speeches and shit,
Oh, bro. I don't know if you've noticed, but my face is probably red right now.
Nah.
Okay, so usually when I get embarrassed or if I'm freaking out or anxious, my cheeks go super red.
Same as me, bro.
And back in the day, it used to be to the point where I'd sweat like crazy too.
Would you tear up a bit? Dude, I would tear up a bit.
Yeah, I'd panic. So my nervous system was so on fight or flight all the time. So, and I know all this shit now, but I didn't know what it was then. So the pressure of before a game, 2 weeks prior to a game, I'd fucking freak out. So the anxiety would turn into depression because of the pressure I put on myself to perform. So the same thing happened for public speaking. It's like, shit, if I don't do well, everyone's gonna hate me. If I don't do well, no one's gonna love me. Now, I brought that on when I was 6 years old. So I went back and did this through the shit that I do with my mentor. And I went back to a moment when I was sitting on the side of my bed with my 6-year-old self and he was crying. And I could fucking see him right next to me. And it was because I just had my first shit game of football. Normally I'm scoring like 5, 6 tries because I'm just bigger than everyone, better. And I had my first shit game of football and Dad was like off me, right? So in my mind, that taught me that if I'm not doing well, my dad fucking hates me, right? So that played out for the rest of my life until fucking last year. But because I overcame that shit, that belief, that unconscious belief. So when I hear people like the Tates and Belmar and say things like the past is the past, I agree. You shouldn't stay there. But you have to face it to fucking get out of it. You have to go back, in my mind, and the work I do, and that's why psychologists and stuff are really helpful. You go back, face it, and then you move through it. Because it's in your body. Otherwise, all that shit plays out in your body.
See, I agree with you there 100%. See,
Yeah.
I personally, I know I need to somewhat heal
Yeah,
or go
yeah.
back to the past to just get it out of my system. But right now, bro, I just love the thought of just using it to my advantage. And
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll be ready when you're ready. And
exactly,
one thing
I think you're older as well, so it's
Bro, I'm so much older. I didn't want to fix my shit until I was 27.
yeah.
So I've been doing this for 7 years, right? So, it started a bit before that, and what happened then to getting over the public speaking thing was I was at a thing called NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So it's language, it's unconscious mind or subconscious mind. And I did it here in the Goldie. So you do 7 days straight, like 12-hour days.
Bro, I fucking heard about this and they teach you how to do it, yeah?
Yeah, Elizabeth Ann Walker. So shout out to Liz, bro. A lot of people talk shit about NLP because everyone comes out and they're like, I'm a coach and this and this. But they're helping people. I see it as a positive. But it's hard because it's like what people will say is how can someone go in there with who's still struggling and still broken and come out and then help people? It's well, no one's ever truly, as we said, healed.
Well, everyone lives once too.
Bro, and we actually, so I would prefer to get support from someone who's 1 step ahead of me, not 100 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Because it seems ridiculous that I could get support from that person because they seem perfect. I'm not. I want to work with this person who's kind of like me and just doing a little bit better. That's what I look for in mentors.
That's cool. Because I had the opposite, dude. I had fucking dude that was 100 steps.
High level shit, yeah. Right? Yeah, and it's it seems too much, right?
It was a lot, dude, because it was a massive kick in the face.
It makes you feel like shit because you're why can't I be like that?
But I was going to say something that we're lucky for is getting criticism from playing football. So people that play sports have to learn how to take constructive criticism.
Oh, dude. Yeah, if you can't handle that shit.
You're not going to...
Well, that's what it made me realize in this NLP stuff because then I could take feedback and then what led to was a judgment because one night we had to do a contest there was 100 of us or so and we all got split up into groups of 10 and you had to freestyle rap for a whole song in front of everyone in your group. So there's 10 and everyone else is out doing it. I went off. I just killed it in the first one and then I had to beat anyone who won the other ones. I beat them And then I beat the next round and then won the next round. And then I had to go against the chick that runs it, which is Liz. She's the teacher. She's the master of linguistics, like language. I beat her too. So in that moment, I'm on stage in front of like 100+ people freestyle rapping, which is one of the hardest things to do. And everyone's like, holy fuck, this is sick. So something in me went, wow, if I can freestyle rap in front of 100 people, I'm sure I can tell my story in front of a few people,
Dude,
right?
I know why I can imagine you just like, yo, yo, yo.
I tore her to shreds, bro, honestly. And I've got video of it, I'll show you.
Oh, please send it to me.
But from there on, I just kept showing up on socials. I kept doing shit. I'd cop some shit here and there, but I kept being me. And I became weirder, embraced my weirdness.
Yeah, embrace that shit.
And the more you embrace yourself, bro, the authenticity, all that sort of stuff, honestly, all you have to do is book your first gig. Find someone who will want Caleb to come and speak about his story on stage for 15 minutes. You'll do it and you'll fucking love it.
Yeah, because I want to be a philosopher.
Ooh, I like that. You're a deep thinker, hey?
Yeah, I know I can I know that like my speech therapy, my speech therapy has always been shit. Like I always struggled in school, bro. Like my average was E and D's.
Gotcha.
Like English, I'm fucking English and I got an E in English. Like how does that make sense?
You didn't enjoy what you were learning.
It's true, but like I just can't speak properly. I've learned a lot in the past 2 years on like how to speak. That's the thing that holds me back. Just the fear of like not being able to
articulate yourself.
I'm good at telling stories. I'm a mad storyteller.
You're really good at stories. So all you need to do is tell stories. That's all it is.
Probably overthinking it, eh?
Yeah. So most people do. It's like if you tell a story and use visuals, you'll kill it. Like when I tell my story, because it's pretty full on. Now I've sort of shortened it a bit, but I use humor, I use visuals, I talk shit about myself. Like people love
when you
bro.
Bring yourself down.
When you're self-demeaning, like what Eminem does, you know, it's like if you do it to yourself, people have relatability too. They don't want you to be fucking perfect. They don't want you to be up there going, I did this because I'm this and this. It's like I was nervous driving down here to do this podcast today because I wanted it to be really good. So I was freaking out, right? That still happens to me sometimes. I think it's because also the next week is like, I've got a podcast tomorrow, speaking gigs. I fly to Melbourne for a business thing.
Oh, no.
So it's a lot. And in my mind, my nervous system's like jacked up a bit. So that's probably affecting it too. So it's like when people hear that, they go, and they know who I am, they're like, oh fuck, so Trav still struggles like me. Maybe I can do the work that he does.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So the more you do that, bro, which you already do, if you just tell your story and tell like how useless you feel and this and this, but you just keep doing it, people will just show up. And the one thing I talk about every time I'm on stage is this term I came up with, which I love failure. So fail for me is fast action ignites learning, right? Fail. The more I fail, I'm learning shit really fast. So I don't think about shit. I'm the least perfectionist you'll ever meet. But that gets me in trouble sometimes too, because I don't like prepare for anything.
I'm the same.
Yeah, so that's why I love freestyle rap. Because if I can just sit there and just listen to some music and let my little bit of tism come through and just do my thing, what I love, that's way better for me than having something planned out for the last 2 weeks. So that to me, bro, would tell me that for you, moving forward, you just do the things. You just embrace that shit. Because that's what you're doing right now. It's working, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, bro, because the one thing is literally public speaking, but you're right. Like, fuck, if you can freestyle and shit.
Dude, if you can get on a podcast, that's public speaking. You just can't see the crowd right now.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? If say there's like 1,000 listeners to this episode, picture 1,000 people in this room. It wouldn't fit.
Well, I got asked to public speak in front of my whole high school.
That'd be sick. Do it.
Yeah, I need to.
Do it.
It was good because my teacher offered to ask me the questions.
Oh, dude, even better. Yeah, do it live. Yeah. What I've done before is a live podcast.
That's cool.
So then you get asked all these questions and you can just tell your story.
But the high school's like 2,000 plus.
Perfect. You'd kill that.
Yeah. Be mad for content.
Bro, like that, when people see that stuff, they just go, okay, we've got to get Caleb to our stuff, right? Oh, man. I'm excited for you, bro. And
I'm excited for you, dude.
I should probably finish this up now because I know you got a podcast straight after this, right?
Oh, bro, honestly, I want you to get on and do breathwork on my pod.
Oh, dude. Okay.
He's going to come on. I want you to start it off as the intro.
Cool. Easy. Let's do that. I just want to say,
it's
I think what it is like when we get brought up in, I don't know about you, but when you get brought up in football players,
Dude.
everything gets the piss taken out of, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's always fucking hilarious though, but it gets to a point where it's brutal. Like there's proper bullying and like proper shit that's like not healthy for most people. But I'm almost grateful I've come from that because now I can handle it too.
Dude,
you know?
just quickly on that before we wrap it up. When I was suicidal, like obviously the boys know I was suicidal because like everyone just started to get along with it that they knew. There was a rope on the tree and we were training and the boys like, Caleb, go fucking hang yourself. And I was like, that's fucked, eh? I went home that night so sad, eh? But now that I'm older, like it's fucking crack up, eh?
It's like people probably hear that and go, oh, that's horrible. But
oh, dude, it was at the time, but it's funny. Like,
but the thing is, right, like if we find humor in these things and we take away the seriousness.
yeah, nothing's that deep. Like,
No.
it's words at the end of the day. If someone said that to me in Indian, I wouldn't have fucking thought of it. Because they're speaking English, it's like, oh shit.
So the guest I had on the other night, Nerida, she said this. She said, the only thing holding you back sometimes, Trav, can be that you speak so deeply and about the like shadow work and all this sort of stuff. It's like you're speaking Spanish and people are looking for English. So start using your language or their language or whatever, rather than trying to talk about how shadows play out in our day-to-day life. Say to someone, do you keep spending money when you feel like shit because you're trying to meet a need that's internal or something like that? They relate to it. But if I just go, oh, have you got this shadow of this, this, and this? No one fucking knows what I'm talking about.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So same thing with this stuff. Same thing with mental health. If no one's experienced it before, they might not know what you and I are going through or understand it.
It's true.
So I think this conversation probably has brought it a bit more lightheartedness to it, and they feel like they can probably speak about it a bit more openly too, which is perfect.
Yeah, I'm keen to come back up here and do one with me, bro. Like, get you
Dude,
on my potty.
or I'll even fucking come down there if I need to.
Come to Sydney?
Yeah.
Shitney? No.
Yeah, no. I got to get on Nick's podcast as well.
Oh, yeah,
I
cool.
was meant to get on there last time.
If you go to his, bro, then let me know.
Well, where are you located?
I'm in, oh, shit.
Hey.
Obviously in a penthouse now.
yeah. The best place ever.
Yeah.
No, if you come up here, bro, I'd love to jump on.
I bet.
I've really appreciated your time and presence today. You know, I for me, even though I'm like 100 episodes deep now,
That's cool.
I still have so much gratitude for anyone that'll take time to jump on and talk to me. So, thank you, bro. I'm really excited to see your journey moving forward.
You too, bro.
And hopefully I can be a part of it. If you ever have any support you need, bro, I'll fucking give you every bit of advice I can. So, thank you for listening, guys. Thank you, my bro, for recording this. This has been amazing. And let's fucking go.
Thank you, bro. Subscribe.
Yep.